In this problem, we have some data. Let's say that a manager takes a survey of 6 employees, and this test measures job satisfaction. And we've got the data in the table here for the 6 employees and what their score is. The first thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to calculate the z-score for each employee, and then we're going to calculate the percentile rank for each employee. So now what's interesting here is that we don't have the population mean and standard deviation, so we're going to have to calculate that in order to get the z-score. So we've got this column labeled employee, this one labeled score. Let's change that to something a little easier to follow. Let's change this to job satisfaction, because we always want to communicate clearly. Make it a little wider. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to calculate some descriptive statistics so we have the mean and the standard deviation. So I'm going to go to data, and I'm going to do data analysis. And I've got descriptive statistics. Okay. The input range is going to be from H3 down to H9. It's grouped by columns. The label is in the first row. For the output, I want to put it on this sheet, so I'll click Output Range. Now I'll click into the box here because it moved up to the input range. And I will say, let's put it over here, say in J3. And we want the summary statistics. So I press OK. And then I get job satisfaction. And I want to go home, and I want to get rid of all those decimal points. Well, not all of them, but just round it to 2. So I'll choose number. Let's make this column wider here so that we can read it. And so here we have what we need. I'm going to highlight this and then shift right arrow, and I will go to home, fill color. And so we've got the mean, and then we need the standard deviation to calculate the. So I'll go to home and underline. No, highlight. And there we've got the standard deviation of 4.24. Now with that, we'll be able to calculate the z-score for each person. All right. I'm going to pin that so it stays open. Okay, now let's go over here, and we're going to need to add some columns to our job satisfaction. We don't want the two tables to merge together, so I'm going to left click on column I and press insert, and I'll do it again, left click, insert. Now I've got a couple more rows. So this first row I'm going to call z-score. So it gets added in there, and the way that I'm going to calculate that is we're going to use our formula, the z-score equals x minus the mean, that quantity divided by the standard deviation. So I'm going to do equals, and then our x score is H4 minus, now I could do $M, $5, or I could just say 16 because I know it's going to be the mean for everything. So I'll do that one this time. H4 minus 16 divided by the standard deviation is 4.24. And I press enter, and it asks me if I want to make it for the whole column. Yes. And there we have the standard deviations. Let's reduce the number of decimal points to 2. So I click on the column, and I go to the number section under home and choose number. And now we've got some z-scores. I'll make this column a little less wide. And we've got z-scores for all of our employees. And so we can see that it looks like they're already sorted in order. So the first 2 are below average, and the last 3 are above average, and our third one is right at the average. All right, now here we want to change this to a percentile rank. So I will type in percentile rank, and that joins the table there. And for this one, what we need to do, we need to find the area underneath the normal curve to the left of it. That's going to be equals norm S dist. And we're going to put our z-score in. And so our z-score is I4. And be sure to watch the videos for more details on what I'm doing here. And I press enter, and that gives us 0.078, which sounds good. It's in the 7th percentile or 8th percentile. Let's do this for the whole column. Now let's change this to percentiles. So I'll highlight the whole column, and then in the number section, I'll click on percentage. And there we have the percentile rank. And maybe I'll add an extra decimal, 7.9 percentile, 17.3, and 88.1 for each person's score. So what does this mean? Well, this employee 1 is really unsatisfied. He's in the bottom decile. That means the bottom 10% of people are satisfied. We better do something to change, or he might not stay with the company very much. Employee 6 is really happy. We might want to check with him to see what he enjoys so much, so that maybe we can make that happen for the other employees as well.